Chris Sanger is a 37-year-old golf instructor at Woodstock Golf Course. It's a small course. It doesn't even have a practice range. But he overcame those odds despite the lack of resources and landed himself a spot in one of the most prestigious tournaments in all of men's golf. One of the stipulations when a school transitions from Division II to Division I is that those student athletes have to sit out of the NCAA tournament for the next 4 years. It doesn't matter how good they are. And unfortunately, Lemoyne College is one of those college campuses that very soon is going to have to pay that price. This is people's livelihood. This is moments that they remember for the rest of their lives. Is having that championship, is having that ring, and is having that accomplishment that you chase with a bunch of people who you deeply care about. And the NCAA wants to take it away. I ask the group, for what? For what?
I got something to say on this. I think this just goes back to the underlying theme of the NCAA, which seems to be an inability to adapt.
Hopkins coming into this with sort of a commanding victory over UMass, whereas Syracuse, the last time they were on the SU Soccer Stadium, things didn't go quite as planned. They've lost 2 out of their last 3 games, but they do have fresher legs, so that's something to consider. People saying that they would just like to tell him how thankful they are for what he's brought to this university, not just the Syracuse men's basketball program. We know that he's been at the helm of that for 47 years, but what he's brought to the community. It's not the only interesting component about this game. You have 2 coaches who know each other pretty well. They were hired by the same athletic director. They were friends before this. They've even mentioned a couple times since we've been down here that they've seen each other on vacations together. So just a lot of unusual and exciting things about this matchup. How about a little shout out to the fans, right? We told you all to pack the dome this week, and you sold it out. First time we've had a sellout crowd since 2019 when the Orange took on #1 ranked Clemson inside the dome. And Ava Angelo, she's out here playing like a grad student, and it does show that sometimes age is just a number. She always plays with confidence. That's something that Coach McCormick talks about. And what place to feel more confident than your hometown? You always get a special kick on opening day, said the great Joe DiMaggio. You look forward to it like a birthday party when you're a kid, and you think something wonderful is going to happen. Imagine if he could have seen the Yankees today. Welcome into sports, everyone. I'm Samantha Croston. The Giants at Yankee Stadium, and before the game even began, the crowd was roaring during starting lineups for both Aaron Judge, the new captain, and Anthony Volpe, the first rookie to crack the starting lineup since this guy. Bottom of the first, and the American League home run record holder steps up to the plate. It's his first at-bat of the year, and what does he do? In the words of Michael Kay, see ya. Who else? How can you not be romantic about baseball? First time Judge has ever hit a home run on opening day. Yanks take the lead. And meanwhile, on the pitching mound, how about this stud? Yankees ace Garrett Cole throwing absolute heaters. Finishes with 11 strikeouts. It's the most by a Yankees starting pitcher on opening day. Yanks cruise to a 5-0 win over the Giants, and what a way to start.
My last start was able to go out and pitch through that, so I thought kind of got over that hurdle. And then in my bullpen yesterday, just, still felt just a teeny bit of something.
Well, this put a bit of a damper on opening day for the Mets, as just hours before the first pitch, Verlander was placed on the injured list for an injury he says he felt in his last spring training start. The diagnosis, a low-grade shoulder strain. Good news is Verlander will continue to throw and will be evaluated again by doctors next week. So with no Verlander, no Edwin Diaz, and 4 other pitchers lost to March injuries, the Mets were off to a very Mets start to the season. But they trekked on. Mets jump out to a 2-0 lead, and here comes the 1-2 pitch to McNeil. It's a base hit through the infielders, the flying squirrel back in action. Brings in Marte, and the Mets go up 3. Take you to the bottom 6. Garrett Cooper up against the Mets ace. Drives one to deep center field, and you can forget that. Marlins grabbing their first run. We go to the top of the 7th where we're all tied up, and it's Nimmo grabbing the 2-run double. David Robertson would go on to get the save, and Mets hold on to the lead, winning 5-3. The Mets improved to 41-21 all-time on opening day, and that winning percentage on opening day, Matt, best in Major League history. How about that?
Really? Now that's a fact I did not know.
Liz and Dan Evans normally opt to sit near the end line of the field.
Tonight, we've shifted a little bit closer to the middle.
The couple usually wears matching attire to represent their daughter on the field. But in this case, they're representing two different schools.
I said we better split it up, so that's how we decided to go this way.
The reason for the seat and wardrobe change is that the Evans' two daughters played against each other for the first time in their high school careers.
Sisters Emily and Maddie started in goal.
One daughter planted in each cage.
They were field players young, and then they just evolved into being a goalie, and when they were in the goal they did such a great job, and coaches identified that and they just stuck with it.
Emily is a senior and the starting goalkeeper for their hometown, Skinny Atlas. Madison is a freshman who transferred into Christian Brothers Academy this year for the academics and a better shot at playing collegiately.
Yeah, Maddie!
To have that moment is special on its own if there were two sisters playing on opposing teams, but to have two sisters playing at, in my opinion, the most important position in our sport and starting against each other, that won't happen again.
It's a unique situation. One Madison's head coach, Pat Britton, says he's never seen in his 13 years with CBA, and his new player understood the moment.
I was like sort of like wanting to get the win because it's against my sister and she's like older. It's just, we're really competitive with each other, but like at the same time I didn't care if we won or lost because it was like still like a surreal experience. Like you never really get to play like a sibling.
An experience Madison will remember forever. After all, the reason she became a goalie in the first place was because she watched her big sis do it first.
I like looked up to her. She was always my role model, and like she started playing and I thought it was cool. And plus like you're the last person like that everyone's counting on.
I think it's really cool and really inspiring, honestly, for me that she looks up to me that much and that I've had that much of an impact on her. And I really hope she continues with it because I think she could be a really good goalie.
Rivals on the field from the first whistle to the handshake line, but having each other's best interests no matter what, and always hoping one another succeeds. In Syracuse,
Hi guys!
I'm Samantha Croston.